I'm just going to be honest, I've had a really rubbish week. It was a full super moon, the biggest moon of the year or something yesterday. Didn't realise it was a full moon until like the day before. So yeah, I've had a really emotional week, not feeling myself, but we're here. And yeah, we're here today because I actually finished my inner child sketchbook this week. This inner child sketchbook is what gave me the idea to create this channel, and filming a sketchbook tour has been something that I've been really excited to do this whole time I was making this sketchbook. So it's a bit annoying this happened to me on a week where I feel like grr and just angry at life, but it's fine. We're going to do a little sketchbook tour, go through my pages, going to give you some ideas of your own things that you could do to heal your inner child, and yeah, hopefully just inspire you to get creative yourself and do some healing of your own. So let's get into it. Alright, so here's my first page. I just felt like I needed a page to say that this is my inner child space and this is what I'm going to be focusing on. And some of you might have already seen some of these pages because in my very first video where I talk about what inner child healing is, some of this work is intuitive and some of it is done by means of having a starting place, like a prompt, almost like a journal prompt. Here my prompt was a special place, which is in an area where I grew up. Don't know why, but that's what came to me. And obviously, as I've said before, all of this work is done using my left hand because I'm right-handed. When I use my left hand, it helps me connect into my inner child more and access my subconscious on a deep. So annoying, I've literally only just realised that this whole recording that was like 15 minutes long of me yapping is actually not got any audio, so I'm going to do a voiceover instead. On this page I was inspired by the children in my class. If you don't know, I used to work as a TA in a school. We used to do this thing called junk modelling, which is where we'd use recycled materials to create art, and instead of making a model I actually just used our junk recycled goods to scrape some paint around. These two pages with the photographs on them were affirmation based art, which I have a whole YouTube video on that as well if you're interested in finding out how I made that. As we go through the sketchbook you can see where parts of me is kind of fighting with my inner child to have control over what we're creating. And yeah, I don't know about these collages, but they were fun to make anyway. More paint scraping, just experimenting and putting paint to paper is something that I don't really do as an artist myself. Like, I always have an idea and I want to get better at doing abstract work, so I thought this was a good place for me to mess around in. Right, these next few pages are just a bit weird, so you have to bear with me. I was watching a David Cho art vlog and he basically started with drawing one thing and then creating a piece of art around it, and I just thought it looked so fun that I went on to do these weird little drawings. This page was just tapping into some automatic drawing, just once again intuitive, letting whatever needs to come out, just focusing on being present and creating something. I was actually watching a film called Wish when I was doing these drawings, and I was inspired by one of the little characters who looks like that little yellow star I keep pointing at. It was so cute. This page was a real learning curve for me because here I was just trying way too much to dictate what my inner child was to create in this book, and I tried to do a portrait and yeah, no, it didn't work at all. I think that double page was definitely a massive learning curve for me because I really took a step back and was like, okay, moving forward I do just need to do stuff that's fun for my inner child, and you can see me let go and loosen up here. I kept being really drawn to working with soft pastels in this work. I think just because of the shape of them and the way that they remind me of crayons, which crayons are some of the first materials I think we all learn to use because they're they're slightly thicker and easier to hold than a pencil. I also really like the chalky consistency of it and that you can blend it. I don't know. More work with soft pastels. This image on the left is actually one of my spirit guides that came through to me, really clear. So I drew him, and yeah, some sort of dreamscape ideas. I've seen that quite frequently come out in my inner child sketchbook, which is really cool. Like, I like this abstract, natural forms that I tend to create. The idea with these pages was to do a question and answer sort of format. So I asked myself questions like, what's my favourite toys, who's a special person, my favourite animal, favourite food, what do I want to be when I'm older, and a favourite place, as well as just drawing a little portrait of myself. And I think this is really cute. It's silly, but it's just good to get to know yourself like that, you know? Here I was just working on some more automatic drawing, but not using colour this time, just focusing on lines and shapes. So that was interesting. This page was helpful, even though at the time I didn't think it was helpful at all. This exercise is called heart mapping. Basically you draw a heart and you ask your inner child questions like, what have you stored in your heart, what people have been important to you, what experiences will you never forget, just these sorts of questions, and you're meant to like visualise it in your heart and how much space it takes up and where it is and all these sorts of things. So yeah, this was interesting to me because I felt really at a loss with this one. So that was a good indicator to me that like I definitely needed to do some work on my heart chakra. Here I was just working on some more collage, just with some old art prints that I had lying around. I think collage is good because it kind of opens me up to creating in a space that I'm not necessarily very familiar with, but I really enjoy. So yeah, enjoyed that. This was another weird sort of exercise that I found online and did. I'm not 100% sure of what the focus of this exercise was, but I'm fairly sure it was something to do with connecting to a piece of yourself that you don't quite understand and asking it a set of questions and intuitively writing whatever the answers are. So mine was so foreign to me that when I asked what its name was, it said Splorg. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the meaning of that is. So in between doing these intentional exercises, I also just like to have fun in my sketchbook too and let my inner child run wild with their imagination. So here's more collage, work with soft pastels, coloured pencils, coloured pens, tissue paper, literally anything that I can find to get my hands on. I actually really love these collages. It just reminds me of this dream space again that I was talking about earlier. This drawing actually came to me way before I even started this sketchbook, and it just came to me in my mind's eye. And this little pink chair is a real chair that I had when I was a little girl, and my mum painted it for me and she put an S on it for my name. And yeah, I just had to draw it, I don't know. This exercise was bilateral drawing, which is when you use two hands at the same time to make a drawing. It's really good for switching into your subconscious. Same with the mandala exercises. Both of these exercises are really calming and soothing for your brain. I love these pages so much. They were so much fun to make. I really just went ham with the stickers. More work with acrylic paint, just creating spaces from my imagination. This was really good fun. This was finger painting and I just embraced the mess of it all and got stuck in and put paint all over my hands and just had the best time, really. This was a painting of my Build-A-Bear that I had growing up. When I draw things or paint things like this, it's because my inner child has just reminded me of it, and I'm like, okay, I'll get that down for you. I'm not like, right, today I'm going to make this. No, it just came out. And I was wondering what the name was, and I think it was called Leia. The prompt I used here was paint your pain. So yeah, really interesting for me to see, like, visually, like, those cross grid patterns. It just reminds me of like a jail cell. This was a self-portrait that I did. I wanted to channel how my inner child sees me, and I actually did this upside down by mistake. I don't know if that's got a little bit of meaning in it, but there we go. More collage work with stickers. Honestly guys, if you're thinking of starting a sketchbook like this, get yourself a packet of stickers. Even though these Squishmallow stickers cost me an arm and a leg, I do not regret buying them at all. More affirmation art. If you want to see the full video and tutorial on how I made this page, go have a look on my channel. This was a paint my anger page. Really interesting, again, that same sort of spiral motion and the grid patterns that's coming through again. Lots of deep meaning encoded in this art, I think. And this is the last page that I had in this book, and I love it. It feels hopeful, it feels joyful, it feels like optimistic and positive and free and all the good things. I think this inner child healing art book has really helped me unlock a new layer of creativity and imagination that I didn't know I had access to. It's also given me a safe space where my inner child can freely express herself without fear of judgment, without fear of failure, and it's definitely something that I needed. I honestly feel like this is one of the best things I could have done for my inner child, and I'm so glad I did, and I really hope this inspires other people to go and make their own art book for their inner child. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought, let me know if you've got any ideas, and yeah, I'll see you soon.